All right. So it probably would come as a surprise to no one to hear that I am a simple person. Very simple, very meat and potatoes as it gets when it comes to my eating palate. Some would call it picky. Just, I have a short list of things that I really like, and it's kind of where I like to stay in that range. Just partially because I'm lazy and partially because it's simple and easy. And so if you put anybody on the spot, for the most part, you ask them, so what's your favorite food item? They're going to come up with something like, let's say, tacos, enchiladas, pizza, right? Spaghetti. They're going to come up with something that's complicated. It has a lot of different ingredients being brought together into that actual meal item. Me, I'm more simple than that. Just give me a loaf of bread, put some butter, some cheese on it, and I'm happy. Literally, bread is my most favorite food item. Not ice cream, not mac and cheese, not whatever. Like, I love bread. And I especially love the old-fashioned styles of the baguette or the sourdough, all that stuff. I love bread. And I love fresh baked bread more than anything else. But it's a little bit old-fashioned in that, like, I mean, some people would say, well, it's steak is their favorite thing, or that, let's say, rotisserie chicken is their favorite thing, or seafood is their favorite thing, sushi maybe. Me, just bread. And it's old-fashioned in that if you look across the world, especially as you kind of descend backwards through time, you're going to find a lot of bread and not a lot of meat, because of the fact that in order to have meat, something has to die. And in order for, simply, it costs money. It costs a lot more money for a steak, for instance, or let's say whatever, than it does for a bag of potatoes. And you even can go through your grocery stores now and you'll see this. A bag of russet potatoes is what, like $2.50 on average at a grocery store? But a steak, like one prime rib steak, or like, let's say, ribeye or something, that's going to run you about like $8. Just one for one person. Get like a larger roast cut, you're talking about a $15 piece of meat maybe, depending on where you're getting it and where it's been sourced from, what it's rated. So you could buy 20 or 10 bags of potatoes, or a bag of grains, which those things will suit you for multiple meals extensively, right? And so it's cheaper to eat that way. Obviously, we still need proteins of some source as humans, but when that's the reason, like, it seems odd when you read the Bible and it says that Jesus says that I'm the bread, that my flesh is real food. That when he's saying I'm the, like, it seems odd because we go to Olive Garden, we go to wherever, and the bread is set there on the table as kind of a throwaway, as an appetizer of that. They put it down there. Maybe you'll eat it, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll, like, it's just to kind of stave you over while you're waiting for the real reason that you're here. And I think that we've kind of conveyed that idea over to Jesus, of that Jesus is this thing that's kind of put on our plates, that's there, and it's just kind of to get us through to the real reason that we exist, whether that's relationship, like start going to church because you're looking for a spouse, you start going to youth group because there's cute girls there, you start going to church because you think there's going to be business contacts that you can make there and that you'll be able to, or whatever, right? You're kind of down on your luck looking for a new job, you start going to church thinking there's business owners there, maybe you'll get leads on a place you can end up working and kind of move forwards in life, whatever. You think that Jesus is something to kind of munch on conversationally while you're waiting for something else in your life. And I think a lot of times as people are telling their testimonies, if you've ever been to a church, smaller churches tend to do this more, Pentecostal churches do this a lot more, but go around, have the microphone, and somebody comes up and is talking about how let's say she threw her life away on guys and just went guy to guy, sleeping in anybody's bed, and just for validation, and that all of a sudden, let's say, finds out she's pregnant, and just to continue with kind of like the worst case scenario stereotype, right? Abortion, and just low sense of self, low self-esteem, low value on yourself, so keep just treating yourself poorly and cheaply until you bottom out, go to church, somebody drags you to church maybe, or you go through a shelter somewhere that is religiously based, and so you go through that stuff, you meet Jesus, and then the whole crescendo of the story is at the end where, and he's brought me a great man that loves me and that treats me well, and I've got this child, and see the cute baby, and it's been great, and everything's great now, everyone go home, go to lunch. And it seems accidental, maybe it's intentional in some spheres, but mostly accidental, that it makes it seem like I had a garbage life, and then I met Jesus, and Jesus gave me the good life that I was hoping for when I was chasing the garbage life. And that's not the case. When we read the actual Bible, when you look through like the book of John, the stories that are present in there of Jesus letting Lazarus die so that he can show his power over death right on the eve of his death and resurrection. That you have instances like this of that, you know what, could have gotten there first. And Martha even says this, you know what, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. And Jesus says, like, listen, no, you don't understand. I'm the resurrection and the life. That's me. Like, thing is, you were hoping for a temporary solution, because obviously Lazarus eventually died anyways. It says that the Pharisees, after putting Jesus to death, were actually conspiring to kind of take care of Lazarus too, because he was a problem in their narrative. But listen, no, I'm the life presently, and that Jesus is the point. He's not the breadsticks that just kind of get set on the table, you munch on them for a little while, and then when the real thing shows up, you just turn your attention away from and focus on this. It's not like that. That is not a Christian life. What that shows is you have an idolatrous obsession with whatever this is, your small business succeeding, or your children not getting pregnant, or bringing someone, or getting someone else pregnant, or kids graduating from college, or whatever it is. You have an idol of this, and you're hoping Jesus is just going to give you your idol. And quite frankly, a lot of the disappointment with religion is the fact that Jesus doesn't give idols. He doesn't let you have the thing you're obsessed with, because he knows that, quite frankly, you don't need him to get that anyway. So, this is what I'm kind of boiling it down to. I love bread. And while obviously it's something of kind of turned towards an old-fashioned kind of view of the way meals work as well, but simply kind of what I was getting to in my previous video, talking about like doing the work now instead of putting it off until it's too late, of that you need to assess where your heart is are you putting Jesus, are you putting external expectations on Jesus, that if he doesn't give you what you want, then you're out, that you'll move on, that you've tried religion before and it didn't give you what you want, and that's why you won't consider it now? Is that where you are? Because the Bible doesn't say that he will turn you over to the thing that you want. He'll let you chase it apart from him. The question is, How long are you going to keep choosing and chasing after the thing over here when you know that, quite frankly, it disappoints? It does not satisfy. How long are you going to keep chasing that instead of prioritizing Christ alone first?